What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Wayne. We back in the building with a dope video. We ain't got the pot of balloon going on today. We gonna be talking about this sports betting BS. You know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
My fault. I'm pressing all type of buttons and gadgets and gizmos all wrong. So look, right now that the Chauncey Billups thing is going on, let me just start this off. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Wayne. We in the building with another dope video. We gonna be discussing this Chauncey Billups ESPN sports betting BS. You know what I mean? And you want to know the worst part about all this that's going on is, I mean, I've said it from the beginning. Everything is a scam. I'll explain it. So let me just pull up the. If you don't know, Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI. So that's a whole nother. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother, like.
You ugly motherfucker.
You done got arrested by the FBI, bruh. But anyway, let's go to Cash Patel. Talk about Chauncey Billups arrest. So I know this is old.
I'm now going to turn the podium over to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here.
You ugly motherfucker.
Ain't nothing worse than a smart dumb nigga.
Mob ties, my guy. Shh. Let me I ain't even set a replay buffer. Never mind. You gambling with mob ties, bruh.
Here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation.
You ugly motherfucker.
See, look. All right, so hold on, real quick. 1 second. So my audio off. Am I low? What about now? Can you hear me? Your audio off? One second. 1 second. Every fucking time, bruh. Every time. I got you, bro. Hold on 1 second, bro. Do you hear me now? Please tell me you hear me now. Can you hear me now? I ain't got no mods, bruh. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I good or no? Is it bad? Does it sound like bad audio? I ordered a new mic. I'm waiting on that shit to come in the mail. It's probably gonna be here on Tuesday. It's a really good mic, but is it bad? Do I sound bad? Hopefully I don't sound bad, bruh. But like I said, this a new laptop. You good? All right, bet. So yeah, like I said, Scotty, shout out to my boy Scotty, you know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
This a new laptop. This like a $1,100 laptop. So this beefy laptop. So my old one, it just conked out. I still got it. It's bad, but anyway, hopefully my audio is better now. But like I was saying, this whole stuff with the WNBA, this whole shit with sports betting and all that, it was always a scam to begin with. It was going to be a scam from the very inception of money. Once money gets involved in anything, it's going to be bad. And the number one thing that the government going to try to do is get money out of it. You know what I mean? Look at it like this. We've been paying think about it like this. We've been paying taxes of our money. They've been taking and providing it to other people for since we was born, since our parents were born and all that. And now all of a sudden, all these years later, since this process has been instituted, now there's no money for something else. Meanwhile, the very people that have been paying into the system, doing the legwork, you mean to tell me there's no food on the table for them? You see what I'm saying? Like it was always a scam. The government was a scam. Money was a scam. Law is a scam. Everything's a scam. Like everything is a scam. So how people didn't understand sports betting is a scam is beyond me. Law is a scam. Ain't no bigger outside of just a government in general. Law is the number one thing that is a scam. You mean to tell me we got 50 states and each one of the states have their own version of a law and they'll charge differently, but when you go get locked up, they don't even give you the max of what you did. Like, come on, bruh. But anyway, I'm finna get back into it because I just wanted to show this part, and then I had
That
another
spanned the
video.
course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
I'm finna go.
Boom. God damn.
Guys, you feel free to weigh in now, Shaq. You've heard from Shams. You saw the FBI director speaking about this. What do you think?
I know everybody that's at play, and I don't like to sit up here and be hypocritical about certain things. I homeboy gamble, Arnie. You know, bet it. You know, we've been on teams. We played cards. We played spades. We played tonk. But with that being said, every year they would give us forums on what and what not to do. One of those things where if somebody asks you if a certain player is playing, you say no. So all these guys knew what was at stake. And I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position. We all
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Hold on, give me 1 second. 1 second, bro. Hold on. I promise you, bro. Every time since I got this new PC, now I just gotta change the thing. Hold on, 1 second, bro. It's still gonna run audio from there, but it's gonna do the what is it? Which one is it? Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. Damn, bro. On cam, webcam, EV. There we go. Now I got this shitty ass stream, bro. Unbelievable, bro. So I should be good now. I don't know why I keep stopping. Hold on. What the hell? Hold on, bro. Why? Man, what is going on, bro? This is unbelievable, bro. Anyway, like I was saying, bro, this is just frustrating, bro. And now you see why niggas have they got a sound guy, they got a the guy that does video, and they can just focus on dealing with the chat and running a damn show. Now I gotta do all three. I gotta try to keep the damn camera on. I got a damn $300 camera giving you the audio from the camera because I can't use my external mic that I was using, the one with the arm, because that don't work on this. And then the video is coming from a $60 webcam. Bro, unbelievable, bro. Foolishness. Straight foolish. I got a video from a webcam and I'm running the audio that you're hearing from a $300 digital camera. And I can't use an external mic because it's glitchy and shit like that. And I can't use my digital camera, which is 1080, you know, 60 frames a second, because it'll cut on and then cut off. It's stupid shit, bruh. Absolutely stupid shit. But anyway.
We all know the rules. We all know the letter of the law, and it's just unfortunate. Innocent to proven guilty, but usually when the FBI has something, they have you. FBI.
I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
You ugly motherfucker.
I'm not sitting here saying I know. I don't know, but I know you don't know either, bitch ass nigga.
I know a lot of people from the FBI, and I've been in many of those investigations. They'll wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but when they come knocking on your door, they have something. And we all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling. And I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they talk. Talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing, but I know Chauncey, I know Damon very well, played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here, but I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood, all money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career, put put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA. I agree with you, Chuck. they dropped the ball.
100%.
They had this
100% dropped the
information a long
ball.
time ago. And like you never want to have your name involved in that when you know the letter of the law. And Ernie, again, I know for a fact every year they cancel practice and say don't do this and don't do that and don't do that. So all the guys had the information. So.
Let's let Kenny get in on this thing.
Well, it's super unfortunate. One, because we look at players that are involved and the people that are involved. We're surprised because when you have access and you're at the top of your game, so to speak, as a coaching profession, a player, or whatever, you're at the top of your game, you have access to millions and millions of dollars in this league. So it was surprising that they would put themselves in that position, possibly. It is an innocent until proven guilty. I think the other part is we have to realize gambling is an addiction. So
this ain't got nothing to do with
the
an
addiction of
bro.
it is what makes you make illogical decisions. So not because you make $9 million. There are people who are.
Well, I can't even say that. Maybe this is an addiction. If this is an addiction,
making, as the FBI director said, there's a man who lost $1.8 million. That means he has a lot of money, so he has an addiction to that, those fish that they talk about that they were bringing in. So gambling is an addiction which can make you make illogical decisions regardless of your ethnic background, regardless of your physical background, and regardless of your financial status. So let's understand that. And I disagree in terms of the NBA dropping the ball. This is an ongoing investigation. There's no way that any FBI or police even would come to anyone and say,
hold on, y'all. Off screen. I'm gonna just do this like this, bro. For right now, I don't even have time to think it. I'm getting frustrated.
hey,
even
this is what
trying
we're
to attempt
doing.
to
This is
fix this shit.
The surprise element.
It's just stupid,
always
bro.
Makes it happen. So they cannot overextend the information that they're receiving. And this is about
It's called greed, not an addiction. I'm gonna do this in this.
I will say this.
It is greed, not an addiction. But see, an addiction. Well, I don't know. I'm confused about it. I don't think, me personally, I don't think it's an addiction. Is gambling an addiction? I think gambling is an addiction. But I just don't understand how you, because it's safe. To me, I assume they didn't do this until they got millions of dollars. Now we know Jordan to have gambled. We know of other NBA players, NFL players to have gambled. Now there's that clip of Michael Porter talking about, hey, my homie say, hey, I'm a take the under, I'm gonna do this, or take the over, I'm gonna do this. Like, we know people are doing this, so I don't necessarily want to say it's an addiction. I feel like an addiction, it needs that variable of you don't know if you're gonna win or lose. But if you have millions of dollars and you're tricking people off to make 15,000 or 50,000 in a week, maybe it's an addiction. But you said, is gambling really addiction if you're making money from it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, addiction to me is you have to yeah, if that's the case, work is an addiction. I don't, yeah, see, I'm with you. See, this is why I like the way you should think it, Scotty. Is because I'm not the type of person who I'm not gonna have one definition for this, and then when the situations change, have the definition completely change. Like, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna hold it all the way through. You know what I mean? If gambling is an addiction, for the ability to get money, then work is an addiction. You see what I'm saying? Would people say work? Then people say addictions aren't good. Well, work is an addiction if you get money from it. I'm with you on the side of greed, and I don't really think it's an addiction because an addiction has a level of you don't know if you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like you could be addicted to, sex with women, right? I don't know how you two gonna handle me saying that word, so you could be addicted to that. But there's a level of you may not get it, you might get it. So at least I don't know. And I don't never proclaim to be a therapist or know it all. I just thought that addictions you had to have like a sense of maybe I get it, maybe I don't. But who knows,
Because you're making me mad right here.
Well, I can make you mad and you can make me mad. I just have my opinion. You're going to have yours. But I also think that because there are people who get speeding tickets doesn't mean everyone in the league speeds. And so don't look at this group of people that's starting to get investigated as the entire league.
Really just want this.
Now that's fair. I do believe that, of course. Not everybody is going to be on that type time. The only thing I could say is gambling does give us that high if we win, just like taking drugs, but there's context to it. You're right. But the thing is, they're never going to lose. If you're doing the gambling in the house, see the thing is, I don't think Chauncey Billups can be addicted to it because he was always going to win. See, when you have millions of dollars and you tell your homie or your best friend or your manager come to you say, hey man, only do 5 rebounds for me today, and you do it, there's a guaranteed win. At that point, you're hustling. It's not an addiction. It's not gambling, it's hustling. You see what I'm saying? Gamble is a risk. In order to gamble something, it has to be risk. When there is no risk and it's 100% win rate, it's hustling at that point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're scamming, which is fine. Like I agree. The NBA was always a scam. The NFL does the same shit. Every league does it. Addiction has nothing to do with it. Yeah, addiction has nothing to do with it. I think it's just these few select individuals, and they say they got 30 of them. These select few individuals not gambling. Well, you can call it gambling, but if they're always going to win or the person they help, like their brother, their sister, or whatever like that, if they're always going to do that, they're always going to win. There's no risk there. You're always going to win. But
You say the league dropped the ball on the Rozier part of
Yes.
this because they had already looked at it and said we didn't have enough,
Now-
but not on the Chauncey. They didn't drop the ball on
First
Chauncey
of all, these are two
Billups.
different things.
Yeah,
It's two
exactly.
now the NFL, when the NFL gets investigated, again, nothing will come from it. Now the NBA currently on NBA rosters during the year, I think it's like 455 players in the NBA, like on NBA rosters between the teams and like practice squads and stuff like that. The NFL normally keeps like 16 to 1700 players, but because I think they have like on their practice squads, they have like 12 guys, different positions and shit like that on their practice squads in case, like, let's say you have a NFL game and both your quarterback and your backup quarterback get fucked up. Well, then you have a quarterback or two on a practice squad and there's some type of contract where you can just pull them up. But even the practice squad people make money because the people in the practice squad, I knew a dude in the practice squad and he was making somewhere around $10,000 a week on a practice squad. Now he was previously on an NFL contract for $1 million or two. But he was on practice squad. I don't know if it varies because of your experience or not, but they make money. And some of the people in the NFL making a shit ton of money. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, 100-some million. He just got his leg snapped off, but for what it's worth, I mean, the NFL will be investigated, but again, who do you blame? There's nobody to blame. And people are, this is the thing, nothing will come from it because people are just going to allow it to pass. Okay, the NBA just got caught gambling. They got caught proving to fuck y'all up with y'all money, taking money from y'all. What do you do about it? Nothing. People are going to continue to gamble. And I say to them, the people who are going to gamble, gambling is a risk. If you want to take the risk, take the risk. The coaches in Vegas communicate with players through headsets. Yeah. Exactly. There's no way you're telling me they get together, like it'll be a clear-cut call and the ref will say it's not this or it's not that. Like that what is that shit? The Houston game the other day. What's the quarterback from the Houston? Light skinned dude was in the end zone, knee down, still ball in his hand, and they didn't call that a safety. Bruh, why isn't it a safety? His knee is down, so he is down. He's being tackled by a defender in the end zone. It is a safety. Now, I don't know what the odds was on a safety being in that game. I imagine it's what, 4 or 5,000% odds. But there's just no way to prove it. So if you got $2,000 on a $4,000 odds that there's going to be at least a safety in the game, you don't need a parlay bet at that point. You know, your 2,000 turn into 20, 25K, something like that. You good. They have the players going on 5 minutes and they have to do the whole view. That's so annoying. Yeah, so annoying. Y'all, how do we see it instantly? We got 3 different camera angles and it take y'all niggas 15 minutes to get it set up. Come on, bruh. Y'all talking to Vegas, which is fine. I agree. That's why I know, but it was always a scam, bruh. At least you sharp enough to know it. Not everybody's gonna know it.
Different
Though.
things.
So the league dropped the ball on Rozier, you
Take
say.
Chauncey out the equation.
All right.
And the reason I'm mad at Kenny is, man, this ain't got nothing to do with damn gambling addiction. This ain't got nothing to do with addiction. These dudes are stupid. Why are they stupid? Under no circumstances can you fix basketball games. Under no circumstances.
No, yes, you're right. The player isn't. However, under the right rule and guide, you can be allowed to do that. Prime example, when you commit a crime, if you caught a body, the charge for the body you caught says you do 10 to life. But in a circumstance where you was angered, you accidentally did it, you didn't really do it like that, then the judge can say, well, you didn't mean for this to happen. It kind of got out of hand. And then he gives you 5 years. And it's like, hold up. The law says you're supposed to do X to X. But then the judge can say, no, just do this. Well, which one is it? Is it a hard rule on, and that's why I said this before, Scotty, you heard me say this. The problem with life is there's either no bar or the bar that is set gets to move. So in that situation, there's a bar that gets to move depending on who does the crime or infraction. But in other scenarios, there's just no bar and people are just going to run over the system. You know what I mean? The people who know it's a scam, they want to believe that sports are real, which I understand, but at the end of the day, it's still delusion. I mean, I know it's a scam. You're sharp enough to know it's a scam, but it is what it is. People gonna do what the hell they want to do.
I love to gamble. The notion, like, Rozier makes $26 million. Him betting, giving people information or taking himself out of games, how much is he gonna benefit taking himself out the game to get unders? Like, he's making $26 million. The notion he gave, how much of these guys he gave a head up, he took himself out of games on prop bets. How much money is he gonna make Well, if
He
you
ain't
get
gonna make
that,
the
you're
money.
proving my point.
What do you mean? That ain't got
That means
that's
that
not
it's an
addiction.
That's not addiction. See Kenny's wrong. That's not addiction. That's hustling. Addiction is debilitating, meaning addiction to me, and again, I don't know. You know what I mean? I want to make that shit perfectly clear, nigga.
I'm not sitting here saying I know. I don't know, but I know you don't know either, bitch ass nigga.
I don't know. But I'm thinking addiction is win, lose, or draw. You're gonna do the desired, you're gonna do the thing. Win, lose, or draw. But a piece of addiction is that ability to have that needs to be there. If I am Terry Rozier and I call my homie Scotty and say, hey, take the unders, or you tell me, or it's you my homie and I ain't seen you in a minute, you're like, yo, I'm down on some luck. I'll be like, all right, take the unders on this game. It's at this, you know, I'm not gonna play, you know what I mean? Or I'm a fuck up at the end of the game. If I do that, I guarantee the outcome for you. I guarantee the winning. To me, that's not gambling at that point. That's straight up hustling. You know what I mean? It's like selling weed. Like I sold weed before. You take a gamble with your freedom. You're taking a risk with your freedom, but you're not necessarily addicted to selling weed. You're doing it directly to get money. As long as you get the gas cheaper than you sell it, then you know what I mean? If you could get a whole zip for what? 150? That's 28 grams in it. That's $280 of value you got at $150. As long as you can get it off, you're good. That's direct money coming into your pocket. But what most people do now, that's direct money coming in your pocket, but you're taking a risk with the law. You're gambling with the law that you will go to jail. But as far as what you get directly in return for it, you're going to get your money directly in return for it. So it's kind of not really you're not addicted to it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Thought process. If you're making $26 million to try to win 50,000, like that's illogical. So that you're proving my point.
No, that's not addiction. That's stupidity.
The same reason someone goes and uses drugs when they're in the NBA.
Hey, drugs are addiction.
So there's no gambling addiction?
No, yeah, they are gambling addiction. But the notion that you're trying to make sure these guys being addicted, you can't fix basketball games. You cannot fix. Like I say, this is separate from Chauncey, but the notion that guys are making all this money and giving information, come on, man, stop that. Ain't got nothing to do with addiction. That's just total stupidity on these two dudes' parts. We will have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly how Charles said. To me, if you making, like you said, $26 million, that's how much he's making this year. So again, off the math, just remember, government is going to take 45 to 50, just over 50% of that in taxes. So 26 divided by 2 is 13. So that leaves him with 13. Assuming he has a manager, some type of manager, he may not, but let's just say he has a manager and he's got an accountant. They maybe take another 5 to 15% of that money, or anywhere from let's just say 2.5 to 12% of that money. That still leaves you with $10 million out of 26. And that's just for this year. You're going to have that again next year because I think he's on a 2 or 3 year contract. And that's just for this year. What about the money you've done before? I think they said he's already netted on $100 and something million. But we got I'm gonna try to find this video real quick because let me see Terry Rozier, I mean, and how did Terry Rozier get involved with I don't understand how he even got involved with it. But it is what it is. Now people are pointing out where they think that they've seen.
There's been some breaking news in the NBA, all kinds of stuff.
Operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown.
He said that all of this overall activity, bigger name player than Jontay Porter. Jontay Porter was on a two-way contract. Terry Rozier has been poker games. This all started Jontay Porter. There was a group of other co-conspirators. That was
yeah, that dude makes plenty of money, man. Yeah, dude a millionaire, but scamming for crumbs, like I said. And you got to remember, that's what his current contract is. I think he makes $26 million this year. Assuming none of this happened, he was going to, let's just say he came home with half of that, because half of it goes to the government. When you make that amount of money, they going to take, and the NBA, where the NBA players lose out, and that's why a lot of them don't really have the money that they have, is because a lot of us on the outside think that these guys make millions of dollars, and they do. The issue is when you make that amount, look how much money they take out of our checks, and we don't make millions of dollars. So when they make millions of dollars, the government comes, literally takes half of that shit right off the top. Then they still pay state tax, even if they live in a state that has no state tax. Like, let's say they live, I don't know, Delaware. I mean, not Delaware. What the fuck? Where's a team that doesn't have state Texas? So they play for the Rockets, Spurs, or the Mavericks. They have no state tax. But when they go play games in other states, that state, they have to pay state tax for that state just for that game. So, and I think they have to go to that if they're on the roster, even if they don't play. So let's just say you on the bench and you don't even play. You still got to pay state tax because you're on the roster. There, you're considered to do work in that state. Now, half their money is gone to tax, federal tax. Then they got state taxes. Then you have all your manager, if you have one, accountants, which you're going to need one because you have multiple accounts. You got retirements. Oh, that's another thing. Lou Williams said in the thing, they pay dues. So a good chunk, a nice little penny of their money goes monthly to them having access to insurance and shit like that outside the NBA. Then you also have, like you said, your manager, shit like that, things like that. Then you have, another thing that people don't consider too with these NBA players is they have security, especially the bigger known ones. So they may not have security, but they got their homie with the strap living with them, or they may have a bodyguard, legal personnel, right? Depending on how big they are. They got to have that too. They may be big enough like Steph Curry or LeBron, where LeBron just ain't about to go to an NBA game in his car. He about to have two personal assistants, maybe 2-3 bodyguards, even though he'll knock somebody's ass out himself. He's going to have somebody who has to deal with his social media. That's not a personal assistant, because this is the person who's going to get all the camera angles, sign contracts for things like merch and like things like that. You could probably got one of the personal assistants getting you food. Like, you have all these people. You have to accommodate these people. So in LeBron's case, he has billions of dollars. He can accommodate it. So they all live close to him or live with him. Fine. But other NBA players on that come up, they don't have those things. They don't need them, but it just is what it is, man. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, bro, it is what it is, bro. That's how they're gonna do. See, that's why I said it was all a scam. They're gonna blame who they want
a
to
while
blame.
ago, I believe last year, and ever since then, there's been an ongoing investigation. So today, 3 notable arrests were made. The first one, Chauncey Billups, the Portland Trailblazers head coach. He was just coaching in an NBA game last night in Portland against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was arrested at around 6 a.m. in Portland, Oregon. Terry Rozier, Miami Heat guard, He was also arrested this morning at 6 a.m. in Orlando. And then Damon Jones also played in the NBA, was an assistant coach in the NBA. He was arrested this morning at 6 a.m. Rozier was involved with charges around sports betting, prop bets, giving information to conspirators that were gambling on games, hundreds of thousands of dollars, allegedly. Chauncey Billups was...
See, how much fucking money are they going to get from these prop bets? I'm fine with it. You know, if Terry Rozier told me, you know, I'm not going to play the fourth quarter, take the under, nigga, thanks. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Shout out to you, bro. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, nigga. No. I will be taking the under, sir.
So,
you know what I mean? I will take the under, but again, it's just
involved in allegedly
this is just sad.
Illegal poker games and cheating and rigging on those poker games as part of a mafia, mob-tied, affiliated situation. And Damon Jones is the one guy that was charged that had crossover with both. Not only the sports gambling, sports betting, providing information, insider information, as Kash Patel and the FBI essentially have called it.
Yeah, that's pretty money at the end of the day. Cause it don't matter. What really puts me off that the league, nigga working with the sports bureau, giving them insider information. Hope they get sued. Yeah, and shout out to, was it Pat McAfee? He also, I think, pointed out that the NFL is a majority stake owner in ESPN. So if ESPN owns the sports book and the NFL is a majority owner in ESPN, then they have a direct financial benefit from the sports book. So it's a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? It's a direct conflict of interest. And they have a financial incentive because these sports books are going to make per team, they're going to make more on average than they're going to make. I seen a video, somebody said they'll make double, but I just think on average, if you take the NFL, all the season, you take all the preseason, all the sports, all the different type of ways you can bet, and you tallied up all that for the preseason into the end of the regular season, that's a higher amount of money on just bets than the NFL, all those teams pulled in on ticket sales, beer, and shit like that. Because you got to think, ticket sales, cool. But a lot of those teams still pay tax or they pay money to the city that they live in, right? The beer and certain concession things that they own, they don't physically own those things. So they got licensing deals with those things. So anytime a Bud Light is sold there, the Bud Light may be $30. The NFL team probably keeps 7 of it and the rest go to the fucking company that made the beer. So they don't own the beer. They don't own the hot dogs and shit like that. They don't really own a lot of stuff other than the ticket sales and like other events and shit that they throw and TV deals. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. Yeah, how's that legal, bruh? He's a kicker. These NBA players are getting money, these big contracts. Yeah, bruh. Gambling, man.
Two co-conspirators. Right, and then he was also involved, allegedly, with the illegal poker games, cheating and rigging on those poker games with mafia ties. And so, obviously, this is seismic news.
Now, this is the thing I want to know. Who snitched? Because there's no way. Okay, you get Chauncey Billups on gambling. Cool. The nigga stupid anyway. You know what I mean? He got caught gambling. Fine. But how do you get him on mafia ties? I'm not saying that he has them or not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how do you know that he's connected to La Cosa Nostra, as they say?
Around the NBA, never have we seen an acting head coach be involved in a federal investigation and arrest like this. An active NBA player. We saw Jonte Porter was arrested and charged with gambling, sports betting, prop betting, and his involvement in that. But another active player now, Terry Rozier, involved in a similar case. He's obviously a much bigger name player than Jontay Porter. Jontay Porter was on a two-way contract. Terry Rozier has been on multiple, 40, 50, $90 million deals.
Multiple 40, 50, $90 million deals. Multiple. I don't know when Terry Rozier got in the NBA, but he's been in the NBA for a minute. He actually went to Louisville, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, what's going on, laughing, man?
Right now, he's making
You know what I mean?
$26
Shout out to
million.
you.
So some bookkeeping here. Chauncey Billups, I'm told, will be arraigned in Portland at 1 p.m. local time. Terry Rozier will be arraigned in Orlando at 2:30 p.m. So Chauncey Billups, 1 p.m. hour in Portland, 2:30 p.m. hour for Terry Rozier in Orlando. And so this is a case of,
Laughing,
in Terry
man. What up, boy?
Rozier situation, it's insider trading is what they're alleging, as they have with Jontay Porter previously. This is obviously colossal news. The one guy, AJ, that we've spoken about on this show, it's come out, Malik Beasley. He's been a part of a federal investigation. He's part of an ongoing NBA investigation. He
Now Malik Beasley is in it.
was not arrested today. His lawyer told me he has not been cooperating with federal authorities on Chauncey Billups.
And he's not cooperating. Dumbass, bruh. Dumbass mob dude purchased a Lamborghini with no source of income. See, that's the thing. The fact that he can even get away with shit like that. Okay, just think of that story right there. He purchased a Lamborghini with no source of income. That means that lets me know that the car dealership place was on bullshit too. You see how they bend the fucking rules? Because if I go to Lamborghini, they gonna want to know my fucking. They gonna want to know. They gonna want to know how, nigga. They gonna want to know what I ate that fucking day.
You ugly motherfucker.
They gonna press me out to the fullest extent. If I tell these niggas I'm 6'1" and I'm 6 foot and a quarter inch, they'll deny me for the damn car. So you know what I mean? Like this shit. These people, bruh. Like they'll. You see what I'm saying? But if I did that, I'm out of pocket. You know what I mean? They gonna press me out. They'll call security on me quick. This dude goes in there, no fucking proof of income, and gets a Lambo. Yeah, exactly. I mean, bruh, this whole and this overarching theme of gambling is tied into the overarching theme of the world, which tomorrow I'm gonna do a little vlog. I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna talk more freely because I can get some wind and shit like that. It's supposed to be a nice day where I'm at. Bruh, this is the problem with the world. We think we got a RP problem and a women problem and a economic problem and all these issues in the world. No, we literally have one issue. This fake shit cannot go on anymore. It's literally a disease. Everything. The fake drugs, the fake shots, the fake food, the fake relationship responsibilities and what people gonna do and shit for each other. That shit's fake. The fake control, the fake laws, the fake politicians, these fake fucking sports gamblers, these fake jobs, these fake friends, these fake family members. Nigga, it's all coming to a head. You see what I'm saying? The it's literally the earth, or it could be God, but it's literally the earth cleansing itself from this disease of our influence as humans. We are a disease on this earth. And the world is like, it has to like rid us of this disease. There's no more space for these goofy ass people um on the camera. Here, I'll just show you these on this shit, bruh. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna just when I go to this. There's no space for this shit no more, bruh. We can't do this lying and cheating, not cheating, but we can't do this. There's this rule for this person, but when this person gets it done, we overlook that shit. No, bro, all of this shit is fake. It cannot go on anymore. It literally the world. We can't live this way no more, and the world is trying to like rid itself of this fucking disease. Everything is a lie. Everything is a scam. Everything. We got people wanting to delete babies in wounds, but then put responsibility on other people. Like, the dad can't walk away from the kid, but then a woman can go delete the kid. All these BS things. It's this. That's the problem with the whole world. It's all falling apart. All of it. Every which way. That's why everywhere you turn, it's some more BS. I seen something the other day that said in Virginia, they're going to start. Is it the state of Virginia? That they're going to start charging people for insurance. The people who have car insurance in Virginia, they're going to charge a tax for having car insurance. Just a tax. So if you live in the state of Virginia, I think you're going to have. Why am I talking about some shit I can clearly look up? I don't even know where to look it up, bro. It's just all this goofy shit, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna let this play for a
Voluntary
second. I'm gonna look
Rozier,
up what I
meaning
was
he
talking
is
about.
not involved in this group, whatever this investigation led to here, at least initially, 30 plus arrests. I'm told Malik Beasley is not involved in this situation. And so just some more bookkeeping there, but we'll see how much more comes of this, right? Like this started as a 3, 4, 5 person group. It's now morphed into over 40. It has mob affiliation, mafia affiliation. And will there be more? Right now, there's over 30 today.
It feels like you would assume there might be more. I mean, listen to Kash Patel in his press conference, but it's two different forms of illegal activity, right? I guess there's the point shaving, possibly allegedly whatever you're doing to manipulate a game, what players doing, but then also the illegal poker games where what you're putting. They said there's X-ray machines, there's hidden. Cameras, there's things where they can read their hole cards that are face down. So who'd you say is the crossover there? And are these, like, how connected are these things?
Damon Jones is the one guy that's charged in both cases. Damon Jones involved allegedly in the illegal sports, the illegal sport.
Nothing that really nobody can do about it. Um. Uh. The new registration law, they could feel like a new cost. Um. Tax on car insurance per se, but there are several recent upcoming changes to Virginia's car insurance registration law that could feel like a new cost. Below is the whatever. So let me see. This says elimination of the uninsured motor vehicle fee option. So what it does, as of July 1st last year, Virginia no longer allows drivers to register a vehicle while I can't find it. I had to look it up, but boy, bruh, we're coming to a head of these things that we
sports
think.
gambling, providing information. Essentially, the way that Kash Patel, the FBI, have framed it is insider trading, information being given out. There was one alleged situation where Damon Jones let co-conspirators and others hear gambling involved in an improper way, that LeBron James was going to be sitting in a game against Milwaukee. And that, then obviously gamblers and bettors can then go bet on Milwaukee in that instance. So that's just one alleged situation that has been brought up in these indictments. These indictments are dozens and dozens of pages long, still going through them. And there are mentions of Chauncey Billups involved in at least one similar situation, but his biggest charge was the illegal poker, essentially cheating, rigging the poker games
in state, a bunch of different states, right?
Damon Jones.
Shams, wasn't it in multiple different states where these illegal poker games were happening, where they had devices and things? Which I don't. Maybe I'm naive, but if there's an illegal poker game, that's one thing. You're running that, but then there's more charges if you're cheating at an illegal poker game. I feel like that's almost like a moral situation.
Double jeopardy.
Yeah. I mean, again, we don't know the.
No, 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 no.
The lengths of the evidence that is at hand here. We know what's in the documents. Was Chauncey Billups knowingly involved with the mafia, with the mob? It's been brought to me by some people here, like, is it possible to even unknowingly be involved in a improper, illegal poker game, essentially, like where you're basically rigging a poker game? How can you unknowingly do that? Like, again, that's all for discussion. But the FBI, what their main charge with Chauncey Billups is the rigging of poker games. And so I believe I read it where these took place were New York, Manhattan area. But as Kash Patel said, there were, I want to say 11 states, he said, that all of this overall activity from sports betting to the illegal poker games, all of this ranged 11 states.
Connor's got something for you, Shams.
Yeah, Shams, you said Malik Beasley still being investigated by the NBA and the FBI. Terry Rozier was investigated by the NBA last year, and the NBA has already said they had no idea.
They've been sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I do want to make it clear here. Terry Rozier was cleared by the NBA. That's why he was playing in games. He was involved in games. He's been through an NBA investigation already. They took his phone, from my understanding, as part of that. He was cleared from that.
Oh, no, 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 no.
You ugly motherfucker.
His attorney even came out with that statement today. But that doesn't mean from a federal perspective he was cleared. So clearly, even though he wasn't mentioned as a formal target in that investigation, at least initially, he was charged here today. Clearly, he was arrested. He has an arrangement today at 2:30 in Orlando. But he was cleared by the NBA. That's why he was playing.
So with that being said, with the Malik Beasley situation, when they're still going into his entire situation and the FBI is going into their entire investigation, like what is the difference between those two? Just the FBI's resources and their ability to connect everything versus the NBA just looking at one specific situation?
The powers are large. I mean, you can talk to conspirators, you can talk to people that you feel like might be involved. They all have the ability, from a federal perspective, from a league perspective. There's an ability to go, even take evidence, right? Take a phone, take other surveillance material, laptops, etc. So that's all under the jurisdiction of definitely the federal realm, but even the league is able to potentially do that. They did that with Terry Rozier, and they cleared him. Malik Beasley's case, he was not arrested today. He was not taken into custody today as part of this federal investigation situation. Again, I'm not saying he will never be. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is he was not part of the 30-plus defendants in this sports, gaming, betting, illegal poker schemes arrests ring today. And so the league's investigation has been ongoing. I reported a while ago that he wasn't mentioned as a target of the federal investigation. But the league's investigation has been ongoing into Malik Beasley, but he was not involved in this. And his attorney, Steve Haney, even told me he's not cooperating with the federal investigators about these two in particular, or three in particular, as far as Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups, and Terry Rozier.
Shams, did you have any idea of this before this morning? It seems like it's unbelievable how quiet this was until, bam, all of a sudden guys are arrested.
I'd gotten wind last night that there was going to be a press conference, and that Kash Patel, I'd been hearing over the last 24 hours, was actually a big name in all of this and someone that was taking a leading role in this investigation process. Obviously, this is for Terry Rozier. He's been investigated for over 2 years now. This is something that's been going on since 2023. And so, that's local authorities, Eastern District of New York, but now
Oh, no, 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 no.
Kash Patel, FBI involvement. I got wind of it last night. Obviously, the names and the specific reporting this morning.
So what's I guess, can you give us a little glimpse what your life looks like right now? I'm sure you're juggling a few things, talking to some sources all over the place. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's now it's all public. So everything that I've been working on since last night is now public information, and so now it's figuring out what's next, right? Portland Trailblazers. What is next with them? With
Who coaches the team?
Miami Heat.
Yeah.
What's next with Terry Rozier as a player? He's under contract for $26 million. $26 million for Terry Rozier on the Heat salary cap. And what's the league's stance? How is the league addressing this? So they're
Are they going to have a presser? Is Silver going to have a presser or anything, Sean? So, are they going to? I assume they're going to have to address it publicly. Are they going to have make it a big thing?
to my knowledge, as of last night, there was not really this. I mean, there was no knowledge by Chauncey Billups, by Terry Rozier, by the league that these arrests were coming specifically. I didn't even have it fully confirmed until this morning. But now you're able to get a look at the indictments. They're going to be able to get a look at the press conference, talk to local authorities, talk to the federal authorities, and we're still waiting on the NBA, Portland, Miami. For statements and seeing how they're going to be handling it with their own players and coaches if you're Portland and Miami, but then as a league with the NBA.
All right, Shams, I know you got plenty to get to. You got your phone, going off the hook. So I appreciate you coming on, Shams, and we will look out for anything new.
Here right now.
Breaking.
I have a statement here right now. The NBA said they are reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams. And so we are going to be tweeting this out right now, but Chauncey Billups and Miami's Terry Rozier
got your sound on
have been placed on immediate leave.
Great work, Sean.
Sure you spell it right.
By the NBA. Yeah.
Okay.
Send.
So that's indefinite, I guess, until they get to the bottom, until they snoop around for a little bit, right, Shams?
Indictments today.
Yes.
Wow.
Or arraignments.
All right, Shams. Well, hey, we appreciate you. Let us know if you get any more breaking news straight from the sources. Let us know. We appreciate your time,
Thank you.
Shams.
I'll just read this whole statement. We're in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. That's the
I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
The NBA statement right now delivered here.
There's
a lot going on.
Like that's what it sounds like. If they're getting arraigned today at 1 o'clock and 2:30, and clearly,
So will we see him? Will that be on camera? Will we see him in front of the judge?
I don't know.
Depends on.
I would imagine it'll get
courtroom.
out there. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I mean, Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the team right now.
Crazy.
Rozier's currently playing, like Sham said, making $26 million this year.
I mean, and
this is a big
coordinator.
deal. This is a really big deal.
especially for the NBA to have already cleared him once.
Yeah.
You know, like, and now, like, so you wonder, are they going to make an example of him? How much more evidence came in? I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
The one thing, like, the NBA needs, I'm sure they want people to know, like, these are separate situations, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Rigging in a legal poker game, that's one thing, but trying to, like, manipulate.
I'm going to bounce over
NBA
this.
head coach Chauncey Billups and NBA player Terry Rozier are among 34 people charged with committing a multi-million-dollar gambling scheme. The charges range from various sports betting-related activity all the way to illegal poker games that were using cheating devices in order to scam people out of their money playing in these games with famous athletes. My name is
You got a real issue scamming
Doug
people
Polk.
out
I'm one of the
some
best
real-
gamblers in the world, most specifically in poker, so I can break down exactly what all of this means to you. Because here's what we know so far. 34 people have been arrested and charged. This spans over 11 states and involves tens of millions of dollars. FBI Director Kash Patel called these arrests historic, saying it's not hundreds of dollars, it's not thousands of dollars,
Not 4,
it's not tens of thousands of dollars,
not 5,
it's not even millions of dollars.
not 6, not 7.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. The alleged fraud is historic in terms of money and deceit used to steal and swindle, including crypto fraud. There are two
Now y'all peddling crypto.
separate cases going on here, and we want to think about them each individually. The first is the sports betting case. In this case, there are 6 people accused of an insider sports conspiracy that exploited information about athletes and their teams and used that information to win money gambling. U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella Jr. called it one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. The second case is about rigged poker games where 31 defendants were using technology.
All right, so we do have a list here. So let me just see who's on the list. So the United States of America versus Alelo Ernest or Nelson Alvarez, also known as Spanish G, Luis Apicelo, Lou AP, Amar Awedel, known as Flapper Poker or Flappy, Saul Becker, Chauncey Billups, Matthew Didino, also known as Matty, and the wrestler. He got straight up
And athletes to lure people in and cheat them out of a lot of
Erica Ernest, Lee Fama, John Gallo, Marco Garzon, Thomas Gallardo, known as Juice,
money in these
Jamie Gillette, Tony Goodson, known as Black Tony,
high-stakes poker games.
Kenny Hahn, Shane Hennon, Hennen, known as Sugar.
We're going to talk about
Boy, my man was in all type of messiness.
both these stories, and I'm going to give you some in-depth analysis on the poker side. But let's talk about the sports betting side first. So In sports betting, you guys might know about this. You can bet on all kinds of different things: the game, the total, how players perform. And the problem with that is that if a player then decides to essentially go to the dark side here, they can bet against themselves knowing they can ensure that they won't hit certain statistics. This is something we've known for a long time. In fact, it's not even just NBA players that can do this. NBA refs can as well, where there was a gigantic story on this about 20 years ago from an NBA ref who was cheating using this method. That ref's name was Tim Donaghy, and in 2007, the FBI launched an investigation into Donaghy where they discovered that he was involved in match fixing. Basically, he would try and make a call that would help one team or hurt another team, and this sent shockwaves to the NBA, which was trying to clean up its image and say these games are fair, only then to have this fallout happen. It makes perfect sense. If you're a professional sports league, you wouldn't want anything to do with gambling, which is why today's video is brought to you by my favorite place to play poker, and you can check out more information in the pinned comment. And if you do sign up, make sure to type in especially bad. In late June, Shams reported that Heat guard Terry Rozier was cleared after betting investigation. So the NBA
Oh, no, 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 no.
looked into Terry Rozier and said, yep, this guy's good. Then the FBI did and said, not so fast. Rumor has after being cleared of wrongdoing, Terry said to local authorities, cash me if you can. One of the games in question happened in 2023. Terry Rozier had an early exit from the game while he was playing with the Hornets. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch went on to say that Rozier told a group that he planned to leave a game early on March 23, 2023, while he was playing with the Hornets. He planned to leave a game early on March 23, 2023, while he was playing with the Hornets. Quote, using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out. Generating tens of 23 while he was playing with the Hornets. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch went on to say that Rozier told a group that he planned to leave a game early on March 23, 2023, while he was playing with the Hornets. Quote, using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. By all accounts, season, Terry Rozier was making $23 million ever heard. In the 2000
Hold on. Let me just do it this way because this way seems to be a little easier for me to view the shit since I gotta view it and it ain't y'all. Who that down in my chat? Make sure you say something, man. So let me look at this real quick. Hold on. So I want to go to the year. So the year is in 2023. He's 28. His cap hit is 21. So a few years ago he made 21. 17% of the league cap. I don't know what that metric is. Appro- Approximate salary is 21 mil. Luxury tax. I don't get that. 14% tax rate. Okay. I don't understand. Cash guarantee. So that number is the same as the hit number, cap hit number. So he was fully guaranteed in 2023. Next year he's with Miami. And this is 2023, 2024. He made 23 million. So over the last 4 years, including this year, 2023 he made 21, 2024 he made 23 million, 2025 he made 24 million, and this year he making 26. It's the same cap hit, 17% each time. 14%, yeah. The tax rate went up, but I don't understand that tax rate. Sign using bird rights. I don't get what that means. Total guaranteed 96 million. Guaranteed at signing was 96. Average salary 24 million. 4 year. So he signed a 4 year, $96 million contract, and this was in 2023. So 23, 24, 25. This was the last year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the last year of his contract. Um, Veteran extension. Terry Rozier signed a 4 year contract with the Hornets, including 96. Damn, the whole fucking contract was guaranteed. Guarantee an average of 24 million. 2025, 2026. Terry will earn a base. In this year alone, he will earn a base salary of 26 million while carrying a cap hit of 26 million and a dead cap value of 24. I don't understand those cap hits, but again,
2023 season, Terry Rozier was making $23 million playing basketball. There were 82 games in a season. That means Terry was making over $250,000 a game, yet was then trying to make tens of thousands of dollars on the side that he has to chop up with his friends. And the reason we know it wasn't even 100K is the article says tens of thousands. So clearly this was something that was like 70 or 80K. Imagine making $250,000 for one night of work, and then you do something illegal that jeopardizes your entire career to make like 25K on the side. What are we doing? But it might not just be that one incident causing issues for Terry Rozier and other defendants. According to the indictment, Rozier and other defendants, quote, had access to private information known by NBA players or NBA coaches that was likely to affect the outcome of games or players' performances, and provided that information to other co-conspirators in exchange for either a flat fee or a share of betting profits. Viewers of ESPN's Get Up show saw this hilarious incident where a gambling ad in the bottom right of the show mysteriously just disappears. Welcome to Doug's 5-star locks of the day. What a show mysteriously just disappears. Welcome to Doug's 5-star locks of the day. What am I taking in tonight's action? Well, I've got the -800 Chauncey Billups to go to jail. I'm also taking the under on 0.5 games on Terry Rozier's remaining NBA career. Actually, the way these things play out, you might want the over. I don't know. How sad is that? Moving to case number 2, the poker cheating side of this story. And we've got to start off here with the official document of these names, because guys, this is incredible. We see NBA coaches on here like Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. But we also have some wild nicknames, like Nelson Alvarez, known as Spanish G, Louis Apicella, known as Lou App, and Amar
Oh, no, 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 no.
Awadawa, known as Flapper Poker, or just Flappy. To be honest, if my name was Amar Awadawa, I might go with Flappy too. Eric Ernest, known as Spook. Matthew Didino, known as The Wrestler. That one's fitting because after these arrests, he's going to be down for the count. We've also got Black Rob, Doc, Pookie, Jay, and John South. Hell of a lineup. We've got a lot of people on this list, including Curtis Meeks, who's a player who actually played on my poker show at my card room in Austin, Texas Lodge Card Club. Allegations of cheating in Chauncey Billups games are not new. In fact, we first saw this a few years ago where on a poker podcast by Matt Berkey, we saw this conversation happen in real time.
There was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, "Look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up." And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up."
Yeah.
And we kind of went back and forth, and I agreed that like I just wasn't going to go play it, but I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas, and it obviously like was for sure confirmed to be cheated. Mm-hmm. Like people who clearly didn't even understand the rules of No Limit Hold'em are just like jamming hundreds of big blinds in with like a gutty. And then just drilling it. Yeah. Only the pros are losing.
It's wild. It could be so well known. It's even on a public podcast that long ago, and still it takes years for anything to actually happen about it. But back to the matter at hand. How do you cheat in poker? Well, there are so many ways, and let me break it down for you. The most old school way people would cheat is they would mark the back of cards, usually high cards like aces. So you would know who was dealt an ace, and then you could fold when they raised or go after them when they didn't have one of those cards. Over time, cheating got more sophisticated when they raised, usually high cards like aces. So you would know who was dealt an ace, and then you could fold when they raised or go after them. The most old school way people would cheat is they would mark the back of cards, usually high cards like aces. So you would know who was dealt an ace, and then you could fold when they raised or go after them when they didn't have one of those cards. Over time, cheating got more sophisticated. In fact, sometimes they would use an ink and then have glasses to see that ink where only the person with those glasses could recognize it. There were also other simple ways of cheating, like two players could signal back and forth using hand signals or locations of their arms to let the other player know what cards they had in that hand. But over time, cheating has gotten more sophisticated. Like for example, we saw a case on Stone's Gambling Hall where allegedly a player won several $100,000 by looking at his crotch over 2 years of poker live streams. Breaking down that story is actually the biggest video in the history of this channel with over 4 million views. And if you want to watch it, I'll put a link below. But the cliff notes are, on some poker shows, the back has access to the cards and then sends it to a player at the table, and they can use that to then beat you out of money by knowing your exact cards while you're at the table. Poker is not a game you can beat someone if they know your cards. The worst player will always win because they know when they're ahead and they know when they're behind. There was also another very famous poker incident because they not a game you out of money by knowing your exact cards while you're at the table. Poker is not a game you can beat someone if they know your cards. The worst player will always win because they know when they're ahead and they know when they're behind. There was also another very famous poker incident where allegedly a player knew someone's cards and called all in with just jack high on a board that did not have a jack or a 4 out there, and they were good up against 8 high. A play so crazy, it only makes sense if you knew their cards. But we've also seen the rise of a new form of cheating being used over the course of the last few years, where a shuffling machine that shuffles the cards is used to cheat players out of money at the table. I believe this is what's being used in these Chauncey Billups games.
There's actually a camera inside the shuffler, and it will read the cards. And it's kind of funny because it's put in there for security purposes.
That camera will know every card's location, and it can transmit to another player knowing which cards will go where, and you know everything in the entire deck based on what's in your hand, and you can use that to know who will win a hand. You can know who will win the hand before the cards are even out there. When you have this technology, you cannot lose. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, Wired Magazine put a video up breaking this entire thing down, and they do a pretty good job. In fact, they got some of the leading experts in the field to weigh in on the subject.
To get another opinion about this, I spoke to Doug Polk, a YouTuber and card house owner in Austin, Texas.
So these shuffle machines, I've seen them all over the place, frankly. I've seen them from the largest, most legitimate established. So now that we know how it works, the camera knows the cards and you know who's going to win. How do they get all of these people together? So typically this is what they do. You have a celebrity come into a game, a player that everyone thinks will be bad at poker. And when you know they're going to go, then other people will sit down to go play with them. And then you have a few people that are professional players who play quite seriously that will join the game to win money. And usually the idea is to try and target those people that are there to make a living playing poker, because generally speaking, they're going to pay their debts as it is their profession. I saw in this story that they called the bad players fish or whales, which is true. And normally we call good players sharks. But they also said these celebrities or athletes were known as face cards. I've never heard of that in my entire life, but what do I know? I've only been in the poker world for 2 decades. You might think it's pretty rare for these high stakes games to run where people are being cheated out of hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, but that is actually not the case. They happen quite frequently. In fact, we had a big one that happened last year in Los Angeles. In this wild tale, players were actually marking cards, and certain players lost large amounts of money before realizing it, and then players went into hiding. There were gambling syndicates, there was mafia ties. This crazy story happened in 2024 and did not even involve any poker celebrities. There are sometimes other problems with these home games as well, like for example, taking an illegal cut of the money known as the rake and using that for profit. In fact, we saw a giant story with Gilbert Arenas break where he was raking games and making money illegally and got busted by the feds. Gilbert Arenas was arrested and charged with operating an illegal gambling business out of his Encino, California mansion, where high-stakes poker games were allegedly held from September 2021 to July 2022. The operation allegedly involved a house cut of every pot, which is called a rake, staffed by dealers, chefs, valets, and women who served drinks and provided massages. Prosecutors of the case are using a photo of a poker table with Arenas Poker Club as part of its case. Now, to be fair, this is not saying that he cheated, it's saying he ran an illegal game, which are different and in my opinion is less morally bad. You're not cheating people out of money, you're just running a game that is in violation of your local laws. That story happened in late July, and some people are now speculating that Gilbert Arenas may have ratted out Chauncey Billups as a way to perhaps lighten his sentencing in his case coming up. Is that true or not? We do not know, but certainly those rumors are swirling. But back to this story. Going through the document here, we can see exactly what they were using, and it does appear to be the rigged shuffling machines. Rigged shuffling machines were secretly altered to use concealed technology to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information via interstate wires to an off-site operator. The operator then communicated that information by cellular telephone to a member of the cheating team seated at the rigged game poker tables, referred to as the quarterback or driver, who used secret signaling to share the information with the other members of the cheating teams playing in the rigged games. This document contains many, many examples of rigged games that were being run over the course of the years, and the people that they stole from are listed as John Doe, so we don't know all of the names of the people that were cheated, but it has so many people implicated here. It's crazy that a cheating ring of this magnitude was able to run without a leak. I'm actually just kind of impressed they even managed to do that. According to Point 44, overall, from approximately April 2019 to the present, the rigged poker scheme caused losses to the victims of at least $7.1 million. That is a gigantic amount to win cheating. Except when you realize Chauncey Billups made over $100 million in his basketball career and has made millions since then coaching in the NBA. $7 million, you're gonna chop that up 34 ways? I mean, what are we doing here, guys? Also in this document, it mentions, in addition In addition, on one occasion, several of the defendants conspired to steal a rigged shuffling machine from John Doe number 7, where a bunch of defendants conspired to committed a gunpoint robbery of John Doe number 7 to steal a specific model of rigged shuffling machines. That's one game you don't want to get dealt in under the gun. I had to do at least one bad poker joke. So what counts are going into this? We have wire fraud conspiracy, operation of an illegal gambling business, 2 counts on that. Money laundering conspiracy, Hobbs Act extortion conspiracy, 2 counts on that. There are so many details here and so much more to come forward. And with all of this swirling in the background, at a press conference yesterday from Chauncey Billups, he had this to say.
That pressure thing is nothing to me, man. I do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may. You know that about me by now, quick.
I've got some bad news, Chauncey, because to me, it looks like those chips are falling. To not miss any updates from this scandal,
I'm trying to find that one video that literally had I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find it, but let me see what they said about it.
Hello, it's your favorite sports thunk here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to 23 against the Pelicans so others could bet the under prop bets. This information was sold to others so they could also profit. There was a $259,000 that was wagered on Rozier by a group of people with inside information, according to the indictment. Rozier played under 10 minutes in the game. Billups took part in a rigged poker game in Manhattan, according to the FBI. How do you rig a poker game? Well, Ocho, according, they had X-ray machines built in the tables. So when you lay the cards face down, I can see what your whole cards are. So now
Doing too much, bro. I can't even watch these two, bro. They just a little too they're a little too much for me, bro. They just a little too much for me, bro. But anyway, hey, listen, that was a good stream. We had so many technical difficulties right off the rip. I'm just glad I was able to actually get a stream off with this new laptop. I got to figure out why my camera won't stay live. I don't know if it's just the battery needs charging, but it doesn't need a battery. It just needs to stay active. But anyway, shout out to everybody who came through. You know, shout out to my boy Scotty. You know what I mean?
you ugly motherfucker.
Shout out to TMX. He was here for a bit, and then he dashed off to go do what he did. You know, shout out to him.
You ugly motherfucker.
And then shout out to my boy Poor Man.
You ugly motherfucker.
But anyway, with that being said, I'm finna get out of here, man. Moral of the story is the NBA has always been rigged. Sportsbook has always been rigged. It's all rigged. And I'm not mad at it being rigged. It is what it is. It's cool. It's just I'm trying to get people to realize that it is what it is. But anyway, that being said, I'm finna log off. And y'all boys have yourself a good night, and I'll catch y'all boys back here. Maybe tomorrow I'll go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go live tomorrow. But I'm definitely gonna go live tomorrow. No. So yeah, definitely gonna go live tomorrow, and I'll catch y'all boys back here, man. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe too when y'all see the video, man.
You ugly motherfucker.